Well, hi, everybody. I'm Kevin Rudd. I'm President and CEO of the Asia Society in New York. Welcome to our series of conversations with Asian Americans building America. We are speaking with people from vastly different backgrounds. We're speaking with people from business, from food, from music, from song, from ROTCs to Asian American astronauts, the whole spectrum of Asian Americans contributing to the building of this great country. Today, I am really pleased to be joined by Hao Jiang, who joins us from Beijing. He is the only Chinese singer who's appeared at the Metropolitan Opera for 20 years in 26 different operas. That is some achievement, my friend. So welcome to our discussion today, Tian. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during the pandemic. You tell us also about your I Sing music project. I'd be really interested to hear about that.
Yeah, thank you. We actually, last year was absolutely difficult year for everybody, for the whole world. And yes, we started this project called I Sing International Young Artist Festival. Actually, we started in America, in Colorado, actually, because my wife found a organization. It's called Asian Performing Arts in Colorado. So we started this 10 years ago. The reason we started because about 12, 13 years ago, I was singing Don Carlo, Verdi's Don Carlo opera in Genoa, in Italy. And in the first rehearsal day, we had a 20 minutes break. The artists, singers, conductor, director, assistant director were from 11 different countries. And we start to talk about Beijing because they asked me, are you Japanese? I said, no, Korean, no, I'm Chinese. I'm from Beijing. Beijing, oh, Beijing, is there symphony orchestra? Is there conservatory? Is there bel canto singing? Is there opera? And they ask many questions. And of course, the 20 minutes, I tried to explain, okay, what do we have in Beijing? Several opera houses, 11, 12 symphony orchestras, and many theaters. And so I realized they really, didn't know very much about China and the history. And so that my wife, Martha, was in New York. She went to Geneva to meet me later. So we had probably about an hour-long conversation on the phone. I said, Martha, I went to the States and for singing. Okay, and then, of course, I read lots of classics, Western classics, and the movies, poems, and the music, of course. And I said, this is something we need to do because we need to really understand each other. And I think if possible, I would like to bring our colleagues to perform in China to understand some Chinese culture, make some friends there. And so we start to do different kind of projects, master classes, bring Italian opera star to China to teach in conservatories. And also we bring some American singers and to perform in China too. So from 2011, we found this project called I Sing International Young Arts Festival. So this year actually is our 10th anniversary, and it's a summer program. Every summer we would invite actually through audition through 7 cities in America, in Europe, China. We would select about 40 singers. 20 Western singers, 20 Chinese singers, and to study together, to sing together. We would train singers, with classical operas and the Chinese art songs, many French chanson and the German lieder, and so it's this kind of a program. So actually, if I make it fast, last year was so frustrated. I didn't know what we can do. So we have a group, so nice, friends work together, conductor and the pianist, and so we decided to start a composition competition, international composition competition. So about over 100 composers, young composers, applied our international composition competition, and from 18 countries. Okay, about 12 were American composers. Okay, and then we commissioned 14 winners to write music for Tang poems. Tang poems. We have to go back to 1,300 years. Okay, Tang Shi. Okay, so we selected the Tang Shi for each, 2 Tang Shi for each composer. And then we had 18 finalists. Finally, 14 won the prizes, first prize. So we had, 14 new pieces, music for Tang poems, old Tang poems, and from those young composers, wonderful composers from 8 countries. So we took us about 8 months to complete the whole competition, and then fortunately, so we premiered this concert, world premiere in Suzhou, China. That was on TV. That was, we made a documentary too.
That's fantastic. Tell me, as a kid, how did you get interested in music and song? Looking at your age, my friend, you were probably a kid during the Wanhua.
Yes.
So the Cultural Revolution. So tell me a bit about that. And how did you get from that to start singing with Pavarotti at the Met? I'm kind of interested in this quick story. Tell us how it all happened.
Well, it's a really long story. If I make it short, okay, I actually during the Cultural Revolution, I was working in a factory in the suburb of Beijing. Okay, I was only 15 years old, and so one day I was on my bike in Beijing and to the other side of Beijing and to look for a friend, and so I was in front of his building. And I didn't want to climb up to the 5th, 6th, floor. So I was shouting his name outside of the building. Hey, are you there? So my friend was not home, and a stranger opened a window and asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "Why?" You asked me. Then he said, "Well, are you a singer?" I said, "No." Why? I said. Well, he said, would you mind to come to my apartment? I would like to talk to you. So I went to his apartment for maybe 3 minutes, 5 maybe. So he asked me what I do and how old I am, and said, "You have a big voice. You have a big voice. You may have a singing career. You should find a voice teacher. To help you. And see whether you can have a singing career." So I didn't remember his face. I didn't know his name. So that 3-4 minutes actually changed my life. I started to find a vocal teacher. That was 1975. 1976, actually, that was the last year of the Cultural Revolution. And the school's musical conservatories opened again this is a long story, again for public, for everybody. Okay, so I applied Central Conservatory, 中央音乐学院. Okay, so I was accepted, and I was lucky.
Well, that's terrific. I love the story about the guy leaning out the window at the apartment. So you got a voice teacher, into the Cultural Revolution, the 音乐学院 has opened up again, and you've got an opportunity to study in Beijing. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. And I tell you, the competition, the audition was extremely difficult because that was first voice class after Cultural Revolution. Okay,
Wow.
so only 17 young singers would be selected from whole China, There was only one opening in Beijing. 500 young singers competed. I was the lucky one.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Thank you.
So tell me, given our time's a bit limited, going from that as a kid screaming out outside an apartment building, winning the audition to get into the 音乐学院,
Yes.
The music academy, to being at the Met and singing with Pavarotti. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel proud to be a Chinese American, an Asian American, and proud to be an American? So how do you feel?
Well, I went to New York in 1983, December 17th, from Beijing. Okay. And at that time, China started to open the door to the world. Okay. So, of course, as a young person, I wanted to go out, especially I wanted to go to America because I read so much about America and then movies and music, everything. So I made it and to go to America in 1983. And so I walked out from Kennedy Airport. I only had $35 in my pocket. And also I only could speak 4 English words. I didn't speak English at all. I only could say hi, bye, something. So the next day, actually, I went to the Met and to see the first opera in my life.
Wow.
I had never seen an opera in China before I left. So the opera was Ernani by Verdi, and the star tenor is starring star tenor was Luciano Pavarotti. James Levine conducted, Cheryl Mills, my hero, American baritone. And so that was the first time I heard Pavarotti. And so I was really, really knocked down by him. Okay. And so, of course, that night, you can imagine a young man from Beijing and sitting there and looking around this one of the greatest opera houses in the world. And I was totally blown away by the orchestra, by the chorus, by the stage set, by, of course, Pavarotti singing. And I couldn't imagine anything. I didn't know anything about opera. I only knew I just spent $8. I bought a standing pass from my...
That was going to be my next question. How much of your $35 did you spend to get into the opera?
$8.
So you're down to $27.
I bought a standing pass. So I only had $27 left. And the only thing in my mind is how could I survive? It's not, of course, opera, really so great. So I couldn't imagine 10 years later. And it's a very interesting is because it's 1993, December 17th, same day, exactly the day I arrived in America 10 years ago. So I was on the stage with Pavarotti together, and my role that time was supporting role, not big. And I was shy. My English was still not good, so I was shy to talk to Pavarotti. So during the whole rehearsal period, I even was nervous to introduce myself to him. But I realized that's the 10th year, exactly the same day I arrived in America. So I got so excited on the stage. So I decided I have to tell Luciano my experience. So I grabbed him, from the first act, we bowed to the audience. So on our way to dressing room, It's only 1 minute walking. So I grabbed Maestro. I said, Maestro, I want to tell you my story. I'm from Beijing. I saw my first opera, blah, blah, blah. I bought $8. So I told her, I was flattered, So I told him my experience, and he didn't react very much. He said, see. He kept walking, So I thought I said something wrong. I was upset because he didn't say anything. And closed his door, in front of me, bang. So the second half of the performance, I was very upset. I thought, too bad, I did something wrong. But at the end, when we finished the opera, and then when we lined up to go out, the curtain for company ball, we call company ball, bowing together. And he didn't go. When his time came, he kept saying, go out, go. And because my role was small, so I was the last one on the side. But he grabbed my hand and went out the curtain with me together. And he used his free hand to draw attention from the audience, ask audience to join him to 给我鼓掌, okay?
鼓掌, yeah.
So I was in tears, okay? So that moment I won't forget.
What a wonderful memory. By the way, what's your favorite part in terms of opera? What's your favorite aria for singing yourself?
Yes, my roles are French, Italian roles, all Verdi's, and also French roles. So I don't know why I was not cast to sing German opera very often. Only one, two maybe. So all Italians. So and also, as a Chinese singer, we all know it's so difficult for us to make it on Western opera stage. It's almost impossible. And if you made it, you stand on the opera stage, but you want to remain on that opera stage, right? You want to sing major roles. You want to sing in America. You want to sing in Europe too, in Italy too. So it's not easy. I don't know, because I came to this country, 38 years ago. So time really, flies so fast. So
like yourself, I'm a huge fan of Italian opera. I've never sung in my life, but I enjoy it enormously. And some of the earlier Mozartian operas set in Italy, you can't go much past Don Giovanni. And have you ever sung Don Giovanni?
Many times, yeah.
Yeah.
My role is a commendatore. Commendatore. Stone. And, yeah.
Give us 3 bars of commendatore.
Don Giovanni. No, not
Don Giovanni.
Bravo. You have a beautiful voice.
It's a very bad voice. But I used to sing in choirs in Australia. So before I went down the food chain of life and went into politics instead. So I could have been a much better performer, perhaps, in a different way. Last question for you, Tian, is as you reflect on America, a lot of this anti-Asian American racial hatred we see at present must be pretty upsetting for you. How do you feel about it as someone who's lived in the States now for nearly 40 years?
Yeah, of course, I'm upset about the situation, okay? But I think a racial conflict, problem is always there, okay? But now, of course, we are going through the difficult period, okay? Because of the reasons, we don't have time to talk about reasons, of course. Pandemic and the political situation is many reasons. I mean, combined together. I mean, of course, it's difficult. But for me, I'm an opera singer. Okay, what I can do? What can I do? So I ask myself, through the last year, and now too, even at this moment, I'm thinking about what I can do. I think all the problems started with, understanding. We have to understand each other. Okay. Before I came to America, I didn't understand this country very much because I of course, even though I read some books, saw some movies, and sing some American songs, but I think just like that day in Genova, in Italy, so that made me thinking a lot. What we can do? I think we should talk to each other. We should sing to each other instead of yelling to each other, instead of shooting each other. That's what I feel. So actually, we kept doing this young arts program for 10 years. Why? Because I felt I could sing in opera, in German, in Italian, in English, in Czech, in Russian, in Latin, in many different kind of languages. But why not? Let me introduce Mandarin to American singers, to Western singers, and try to sing some Chinese contemporary opera pieces and or art songs. And the music, I think, is the thing can heal, can help us to understand each other. So we have done so many concerts. I sing, okay, in New York, San Francisco, and many cities in America, and many cities in China too. And I think through the past 10 years, 280 some Western singers went to China with us every year, about 20 some, okay. And 20, 30 Western singers, about over 100 American young singers went with us, performed with us in many different theaters, concert halls. I think it's so it's a family, okay, our I Sing project is a family, but a family could grow. We could have 1,000 family members, 10th of 1,000 family members. Why not? Okay. So
it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I think. I know we don't have time. I'm sorry, Mr. Rod. I talk too much.
No, you don't talk too much at all. I've enjoyed it very much. I think what I really love about what you just said, Tian, is here is my my 小型的唐诗. This is my little attempt at a Tang poem here, which is purely taken from the master himself, Tian Hao Jiang, which is, let us stop shouting at each other and start singing to each other. I like that. we can put that down into Bakazi, and we'll work on it.
Okay. All right. I can, whatever we can help. You know that. Yeah.
I think that's terrific. I've just been speaking to someone who's a master of Asian cuisine in the United States. The whole notion of food and of celebrating, frankly, preparing food together, and common cuisine, shared cuisine. It's speaking from the heart rather than some of the hatreds learned in the head. I think that's part of the future. So Tian Hao Jiang, thank you very much for being part of our program today. We appreciate your creativity. We appreciate your voice, in particular, in bridging some of these cultural divides through song and through lyric. And we look forward to hearing your work for generations to come. My name's Kevin Rudd. I'm from the Asia Society. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.